And welcome in there, Jims and Jimettes, to episode number 127 of the DAAAgenerates podcast here. Nope, yeah, sorry, we're a little late. No, we did not stay an extra day at the same resort that Antonio Brown did. But yeah, we had some personal issues to attend to on both sides. Bill was a little sick. I had some, just like I said, personal stuff that going on. Either way, we're here talking about some Bears from last week. Got some Bears for this week. Got our some week 4 best matchups that we like to see. Some good matchups that we're going to see in week 5. A little bit of baseball, a little bit of wrestling. Of course, as always, I'll introduce you to my co-host. Wow, Bill, coming in. How the hell are you?
Hey, we're doing a hell of a lot better today. Monday and Tuesday, like Nick said, felt like absolute dog shit. Had a fucking fever, the chills, the whole 9 yards. It was fucking ugly. But we're doing a lot better today. Unfortunately, we have to fucking talk about the Bears and fucking that god awful performance from Sunday.
Oh yeah,
It was honestly depressing watching that fucking football game. I think that's what got me sick.
that's
Just
possible.
watching that fucking ugly ass game. But yeah, we got Bears a little recap from last week, preview this week. We got the Vikings, week 4, 5, fantasy, gambling, wrestling, baseball, yada yada yada. Should be a little bit of a longer episode, just one episode this week, but fuck it. What do you want to hop into right away?
I mean, that's our usual go-to. I figured we could just bang out the Bears right away and then just what we like our what our takeaways, our takeaways from last week and then preview next week, I figured, and then just bounce right into week 4, bounce back into week 5. That was kind of my game plan, unless you had
Yeah,
something different.
no, we could do that for sure.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Let's fucking hop into Bears Giants week 4 in New York. Bears fall to the Giants 20-12. Um, for those of you who got me added on Snapchat, pretty much said everything that I needed to say. It was an ugly game. It was a fucking embarrassing game, both sides of the ball. Very few bright spots, but yeah, we got to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
give me your thoughts on it.
I mean, this is the first thing I said right away. Well, was how are we going to win? It's going to take stopping the run. They didn't stop the run at all. Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones just fucking tore us apart. 262 total yards on the ground for the Giants. Fucking disgusting. Matt Breida, along with I'll bring up another name later on during the day, but Matt Breida shouldn't be getting touches at all. He shouldn't be fantasy relevant in any sort of space in his 2021. But yeah, Saquon Barkley getting 31 touches for 146 on the ground. He gets 2 more in the air for 16. Like, it's a disgusting stat line. If we were going to stop the Giants, we were going to have to stop Saquon, and we didn't. Uh, Daniel Jones, again, he makes it look effortless. He rushes in for 2 touchdowns on 68 yards on the ground. Just couldn't stop him when they were just constantly PA run out. Just couldn't fucking catch him. Couldn't figure it out. They didn't buy. I mean, 82 yards in the air. I knew. Again, I said this last week. None of those pass catchers were going to kill us. None of those were going to be a threat. It was going to be Saquon, and sure enough, they just couldn't get around Saquon, and that was the problem. And literally at one point when both of their guys went down, they were taking direct snaps to Saquon Barkley and just handed it straight up to Barkley to Breida. That shouldn't happen in any sort of multiverse universe. That just should not happen. Uh, Again, Fields with some extra opportunities and just wasn't able to capitalize on it. The stat line doesn't look all too terrible in terms of the amount of passes he had, but 11 for 22 in a very disgusting game. 174 looks okay, but 25% of that came on one big bomb to Darnell Mooney, which that was fun to see and it was really awesome. But again, that's just still putting up almost freshman college, like you're out of the high school numbers. Now you're in the college freshman numbers here. But, 7 attempts on the ground for 52. He's trying to stay relevant, trying to stay in there. I don't know. He just wasn't, Fields just didn't look good. I'll give it to him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The Giants defense is tough. The head coaching and all overall, the culture change there is, it's so much different in New York now. It's not the same Giants defense as team as before. The 3-1 kind of for a reason. It's not entirely just for side yet. I think there might get ransacked in London against the Packers, but this is still, regardless, it's still a different team now. And like I said, on the road in New York, it's still tough. But on paper, Bears should have still had it. Still, I think we had the better talent. But yeah, this was all around really ugly. I don't know. This is still a lot to take away. The only thing is, like, why do we cut Money Badgley? He made all fucking 12 of our points and we cut him. So I don't know. That was my takeaway. Like I said, didn't stop the run, so they didn't need to stop anything else. So that's it. That's why the Bears couldn't win.
Yeah, I mean, you said you hit it right on the head, and we both, talked about it last week. If they didn't stop Saquon, they weren't going to win the game. And Saquon, their leading rusher, also had 2 receptions. Just looking at like the receiving numbers for both teams in this game is just sad. I mean,
Yeah.
the Giants had 82 yards receiving total. The Bears 174, but like you said, a lot of that came on that one big play to Mooney. Other than that, you got Cole Kmet, 3 catches, nothing for St. Brown, a catch for Herbert, a catch for 2 catches for fucking Ebner, the third string running back for the Bears.
I mean, 20
Uh,
total completed passes in between the two teams. 11 for the Bears and nine completed passes between two different quarterbacks on the Giants.
yeah,
Fucking atrocious. This is
yeah, it
not a
was,
fun game to watch. I had Red Zone on full volume and I had the Bears game on in the background. That's how that Sunday was. But I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
Like I said, there were very few bright spots. I guess the one bright spot we can talk about is Fields when he did throw the ball, when he wasn't getting sacked the 6 times. He did have a little, he had some good throws down the field. Obviously, the big one to Mooney. I think he had a nice throw to uh who the fuck was it? Cole Kmet earlier in the game. And that was, I think, Cole Kmet, 13 of his 16 yards came on that one catch. Was a nice throw there by Fields. But again, it's just Fields running for his life. Got sacked 6 times. Had 7 rushes for 52 yards. And then, yeah, numbers wise, statistically, that's okay. But I don't want our quarterback running for his life because he's going to end up getting fucking murdered. We've seen it in pretty much every single game the Bears have played yet so far, including preseason. Going back to the preseason game against the Browns, there's been like scary situations where there's been late hits, and we're questioning if Justin Fields is okay. And thank God he has been so far. But one of these hits is going to take this fucking dude out, and then the Bears are going to have nothing. They're going to have nothing. Trevor Siemian
yeah.
ain't going to do shit as their backup quarterback. So Fields getting
I
sacked 6 times, that's
I'd
not
argue
good.
I'd argue with Simeon at the helm, we might be a tier below the Houston Texans in terms
Yeah,
of
I
just what
totally agree.
capabilities and just turn and everything, and especially on the offensive end. We would just wouldn't be able to move the ball in any sort of sense, especially with Montgomery still out right now. So
Yeah.
that just
And
doesn't look
then
good. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
defensively, the Bears made no adjustments against the play action. Um, you know, and rightfully so. Everyone has to focus on Saquon Barkley, and you'd think if you're going to focus on Saquon Barkley and take him away, he wouldn't have 146 rushing yards. But it was actually the complete opposite. Give up 146 to him. The play action is going to be open just because you're spotlighting, or you're supposed to be spotlighting Barkley. And then Daniel Jones rushes in for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it was an all around brutal day on both sides. A lot of fumbles for the Bears. I think we had 3 lost fumbles, and the backbreaker was Bayless Jones Jr. on that punt return late in the game, muffed the punt, set the Giants up in the red zone. They ended up scoring off that. Yeah, of Justin Fields lost a fumble, and Travis Ebner also lost a fumble for the Bears. So it was an all around terrible game. This was one of the worst games I've watched in a long time. And I was really excited because it was a winnable game. 2 young teams, new coaching staffs. Always like watching the Giants just for our boy Julian Love, who ended up leaving the game with a concussion, but supposedly he's all good. He's back at practice, so
That's good.
good to hear Julian's doing well. But this was a winnable game, and we looked at times throughout the first 3 weeks. The Bears have looked good. The Bears have looked bad. That the week 1 game was exciting. The second half against the Packers was exciting at times. Me being at the Texans game and winning that one last second back and forth game, that was an exciting game. this game was just a fucking letdown. This was a terrible game. Like you said, our kicker, our free agent acquisition kicker, who's already, got cut. I know Cairo, he was out for personal reasons. We don't know, why. But Michael Badgley comes off the couch Wednesday, gets signed with the Bears, scores all of our points, and he's not, he's gone. So
Yeah,
that's sad
that's
when you got a kicker scoring all of your fucking points. So I was high on Velus Jones Jr. I don't know if I am anymore, just because your first game, you muff a fucking punt to lose the game. That is, I'm all out. I'm out on you. So I don't really got anything else to say other than this was a disappointing loss. Um, like I said, Fields looked okay. He's gonna do good moving and making time for himself and getting out of the pocket, running with the ball. But that's not ideal. That's not what I want to see every single time. As fun as those broken plays are, I don't want to see those. Tevin Jenkins, who actually played an entire game at right guard, I thought he looked pretty fucking good. There were a couple plays where downfield, pancaking linebackers, pancaking defensive backs. Loved seeing that. They were creating holes behind him all day. So I think, maybe, Bears drafted him last year, second round to play left tackle. Didn't work out there. Move him to right tackle. Didn't work out there. I think they found a home with that guy at right guard. So
good.
he played good. And then obviously on the defensive side of the ball, Roquan's still a dog. Eddie has his fourth pick of the year, which is that's great. Eddie Jackson's been, playing pretty decent. He's actually been making some tackles too in the open field, which last couple of years a lot of Bears fans have ripped him for. Still no Jalen Johnson. He's out with that hamstring injury. But Kyler Gordon actually looked decent, and I don't know if it was just him looking good or he was looking good because the Giants threw the ball 9 times. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, disappointing game all around. A very winnable game, and to only put up 12 points and no offensive touchdowns, no offensive points at all. Uh, Very embarrassing.
Yeah, no, that would be my only last thing to wrap up on this game. Just good to see, I mean, a step in the right direction, actually having over 100 passing yards, just under 200 at 174 basically, but the contrast just why, again, while there was no interceptions, no touchdowns, no scores, no rushing touchdowns, that would have been like a game where again we were talking about last week, just let's get a step in the right direction, show us what we can build upon. This would have been a great if he could have gotten an offensive score, at least just one. We would have been we would have probably just been feeling a little bit better today. Just at least one offensive score in some sort of light. Again,
Yeah.
not turning the ball over. I don't know if did he might have had a fumble or two. So again, maybe not completely off the cuff for turning the ball over in general, but yeah, getting sacked. You said 5, 6 times. How many times?
Six
Yeah.
sacks and a lost fumble. So
Okay. Yeah. So
that's you got to definitely work on that right
yeah.
there.
So I guess yeah, when the interceptions aren't there, I guess that's where the you got to look at that too. So yeah, it would have been obviously would have been looking a little bit better. And this was again the winnable game. Gonna have to look just gonna have to look past it. Look forward to the Vikings. You want to just I guess that's a good transition right into the preview of next week's game against the Vikings. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's just hop right into week 5. Bears Vikings in Minnesota. Sunday on Fox, noon start. Minnesota 7-point favorites opening up. I think the over under is 44.5 right now. Vikings 3-1. They've looked pretty decent so far this year. Bears, 2-2. A lot of injuries. Cody Whitehair is going to be out. Jalen Johnson still questionable. David Montgomery questionable. It sucks to lose Whitehair because he's definitely the leader on that offensive line, playing center for us. I don't know, playing guard. Sorry, left guard. Uh, he's been like that mainstay, that staple in that offensive line for a couple years now, and he's going to be out, I think, at least 4 weeks with a knee injury after being placed on IR. So that's going to be a tough loss. What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, this is gonna be a tough one. This is really gonna be a tough one. I know the Vikings have looked What would be the word, I suppose? I mean, they haven't been as dominant as we thought they were going to be necessarily. They got humbled by the Eagles in week 2. They looked phenomenal week 1 against the Packers, got humbled in week 2, and just squeaked by the Lions in week 3. And I give it again, give them the benefit of the doubt. Both had a flag across the pond and went up against a tough Saints defense, but again, just barely squeaking out a win against the Saints. I don't know. I feel like the game script for the Vikings is probably gonna be throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. And if and when they go up big in the first 2 quarters, something like that, Dalvin Cook, even with a banged up shoulder, is gonna come in and bang. Alexander Madison is gonna come in and get some complimentary yardage as well, and they're gonna do their best just to mow us down. I know they'll sprinkle them in early while they're trying to pass, but getting Jefferson, Thielen, and probably like KJ Osborne involved, I think that's most likely going to be the Vikings game plan.
Yeah, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. It's going to be an ugly game.
Yeah.
Everything the Vikings do well offensively are the Bears' weak points
Yep.
defensively. And other side of the ball, the Vikings defense hasn't looked that great. I was actually looking at some streaming options in fantasy, thinking, I got Baltimore this week. I forgot who they play. They got a weird matchup. They got a
The
tough matchup.
Bengals. They got the Bengals
Bengals, yeah,
Sunday
that's who
night.
it is. So I was thinking about maybe picking up another defense, and I was even thinking the Vikings. Now, one, I couldn't do it just because they're playing the Bears. I'm not going to root for the Vikings, but they actually have like -8 points on the year, at least in my league scoring for their total defense through 4 weeks. So
Damn.
that's been abysmal. But yeah, giving up 24 points to the Lions, 24 points to the Eagles, and then 25 to a Saints team who, yeah, in London, it was a great game, and happy for all those London fans who were actually at the game. They didn't get, that stinker of a game that you always think, the Jaguars Titans from 5 years ago fucking matchup in London or whatever. You
Yeah.
actually got a fun game. So, uh, but give up 25 points to the Saints without Jameis, without Michael Thomas, and without Alvin Kamara. They're three top guys on that offense. They still put up 25 points. So I still do think the Bears would score, or Bears can score in this game. I see 44 and a half. I'm definitely going to take the over. But honestly, I still think the Bears are going to get shit kicked. Like the
Yeah.
Bears might give up 45 points in this game. Not
Yeah.
even going to sugarcoat it.
When you said that line, I'm like, damn, do they think the Vikings can score 45 points by themselves? I mean, yeah, it was at 40.
They honestly can.
They for sure could if they give them enough time. I mean, yeah, this could be an all out fucking just blowout. I mean, if the Bears have any chance of winning, they're just gonna have to key in on the key
They're
players.
going to
And
have to break Justin Jefferson's neck.
yeah, that's I mean that was
And they're going to have to kidnap Adam Thielen's family and hold them for ransom and say, you want them back? Don't play.
that wasn't necessarily my point, but I had this
And
written
then they're going
down
to have to
where
poison the fucking Uber driver of Dalvin Cook and hope that he crashes the car into a ditch and Dalvin Cook sprains his fucking shoulder again.
exactly. I mean, we have a good enough defense to hold either Jefferson back or Delvin Cook back. We don't have a great enough defense to do both. We're gonna have to either, and even then, I don't even know if it's good enough to keep both of them contained. But it's gonna be tough. But the Vikings did make Latavius Murray fantasy relevant in 2022, so I'm not gonna pull back. I'll pull back and say maybe Khalil Herbert is, he has the potential to have a field day
He
as long as
does. Yeah, he does.
long as the O line does create some sort of holes and can help in any sort of way. I mean, even the Eagles, they ran all over the Vikings as well. I mean, I think between Sanders, Boston Scott, and
Kenneth Gainwell.
Kenneth Gainwell, I think they had like 170 yards on the ground. So I mean, I think that's pretty solid. Uh, Again, in the realm of Fields needs to do something because he's getting closer and closer to that hot seat. Not necessarily the hot seat of you're going to lose your job right now, but you could be on the hot seat of, hey, next year or the year after, we might be seeking out your replacement. So
Yeah.
that might already be in the vicinity. That might be already in the realm of talk. It's kind of hard to sit here and say just because I mean, I think we said this every single week, probably since the offseason started. There's just no talented pieces to help Justin Fields out, so you can't be 100% on blame on him just yet. So it's we're still in that realm. But I'm again,
Yeah, and we even
you
got
know,
Dan Orlovsky on ESPN earlier in the week said the exact same thing. So he must be tuning into the podcast.
I hope
You
so.
cannot truly evaluate Justin Fields with the lack of talent that he has around
Yeah,
him and with the offensive line that he has. You
it's
cannot evaluate him.
it's impossible. I
And when
mean,
you got guys, I know Rex Ryan was sort of a meme back in the day, but Rex Ryan was a relatively successful coach. He's a knowledgeable guy when it comes to the game of football. He's even agreeing with Dan Arlovsky when he said that. So I mean, everyone's pretty much under the same boat. Like we don't know what Justin Fields can be yet because he's throwing to fucking N'Keal Harry and Byron Pringle and Trey Wesco. Who the fuck is that?
exactly. I would love. I maybe not. I impromptu comparison to Mitch first for right now, but throw Justin Fields in the Steelers offense when you have Deontay Johnson, Pat Firemuth, you got Chase Claypool and Najee Harris. I think Fields would fucking prosper and with key pieces like that. Even George Pickens right now, who's gonna probably have a nice little rookie resurgence right now with Kenny Pickett coming in. We'll
Yeah.
talk about Mitch's time being up sometime soon, but again, we will go back again to this fucking argument of he needs pieces. He needs something. We can't sit here and report and do this again. Yeah, exactly. He's exactly right. You can't sit here and report and grade him when there's just nothing that he can do. Again, it's a tough ask going on the road again, but you already brought it up. It's a middle tier, lower tier defense. Go out and impress us, Fields. Do something. May give us the big ooh ah fucking play down the side, like hoorah, ooh ah, hoorah, hoorah. I don't know, fucking noises that are coming at me right now. But just give us something to cheer for. Give us something to again, bright spots. We need improvement. That's
Yeah,
that's
and
basically what I got on this game.
I fucking hate to say it, but fantasy wise, I'm gonna hope Justin Jefferson just rips the fucking Bears apart
He could.
because need a big performance out of him.
He definitely could. This could be a 14 This could be a Cooper Cup type game for Justin Jefferson where he gets
Yeah.
10, 12 receptions for 140 yards and a score or two. So this could be a crazy game for Justin Jefferson. Uh, excuse me. Like I said, we did just do. If my fucking dogs would start barking, we did just do week 5 preview, but I kind of wanted to backtrack and maybe go over back and do some week 4 games that we liked from last week. Maybe some talking
Let's
points.
go for it because there's definitely a handful of great games from week 4 I want to
Yeah,
talk about real quick.
Yeah, I mean, besides the games, I feel like we should probably just talk about it and get our point of view on it. I mean, it's kind of it's been a week already. Everyone's kind of dipped their toe in this, but Tua and his head situation. Obviously, he was ruled out in this upcoming game, week 5. I think it's the Miami's playing at the Jets, Jets, who got a big win last week. But yeah, just this whole idea of should Tua have been playing. I know we got you put up that thing on fucking on our degenerates page or whatever. Got some fucking heat back and forth, but it's the internet. It's still the internet. You gotta talk some shit. If Barstool put that up or if fucking NFL memes put that up, you guys would have been fucking laughing and pissing your pants. But God forbid we put up something funny. Yeah. But yeah, I know. Uh just this whole idea of Tua obviously shouldn't have been playing I believe everyone in that Miami front office, in terms of like their medical staff, everyone's basically gone and out of a job. Uh, any initial thoughts? Are we throwing them in the bathroom? What are we doing with these guys?
It's such a hairy situation, such a fucking tough spot to be put in. The Dolphins have already had over the last calendar year. Obviously they had the whole thing with Brian Flores accusing of the ownership of paying him money to lose games. And then he goes out and he has a suit against the NFL for discrimination in the hiring process in the offseason. So I mean, the Dolphins are already under this spotlight for you know supposedly paying him to or offering to pay him to lose games, which he says he's denied, which I believe him. And now you have something like this come up. It's just a bad look for the Miami Dolphins right now.
Big
And
time.
I know it's definitely it's easier to say after the fact that he shouldn't have played, but I truly think that he shouldn't have played after, or after, or not after, even before this all fucking happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to week 3, had that scary play against the Bills, smacked his head pretty hard, gets up, takes a couple steps, and then just falls over, collapses again, can't even walk on his own 2 feet. Very clearly concussed, goes out, has the evaluation from the third party neurologist or whatever the doctor's called, and somehow gets cleared to go back into that game. Played the rest of the game, looked decent. Got the Bills a win. Um, but on 4 days rest like that, I
That's the big issue
it's
for
like
in my
exactly
mind. It's just
it's
like
4 days rest, and it's you're 3-0. You just got a huge win over the Bills, and this sounds like a professional athlete and someone who's actually on the field and involved with the team would never say this. Only fans would say this, but if you go out on that Thursday night game without Tua and you lose, like it's not the end of the world. You're 3-1. You're saving the health of your, future quarterback. Obviously, they're putting all their eggs in fucking Tua's basket right now, and rightfully so. He's played great. They were 3-0 before this. If you go into that Thursday night game, say, "Hey Tua, take this fucking game off." Um, we'll let Teddy Bridgewater start this game. We'll make sure you're 100% ready to go for Week 5, which, like you said, they got a pretty favorable matchup this week against the who do they play again? You said they
play the
play the
Jets.
Jets. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they play the Jets. If they lose that game, I don't think it hurts them that much. You're still
No,
3-1.
the Jets are a little hungry. They're
Ex-
they're they're a, they're a feisty team right now. As much as people will still want to make them the meme team or whatever, right? What it
yeah.
is, but yeah,
But instead of taking it easy, giving him that fucking week off on a short week, planned Thursday night in Cincinnati, you throw him out there. I don't know if it's for ratings. I don't know if it's obviously you want to win that game, and Tua gives you the best chance to win it. But you got to look in terms of the long haul. And you're 3-0. You just beat the goddamn Buffalo Bills. Give this guy a week off. Now you don't even know when this guy is going to play again. And the hit that he took against the Bengals, we were watching the fucking game and we were talking about it, and it didn't look like that violent of a hit. Sure, he got wrapped up and he got whipped down and he hit his head, but compared to the hit that he took against the Bills game, I think the Bills one was, in terms of like physical contact, was much worse than the one he took against the Bills. And I was talking, and I think if he didn't have that concussion week 4 or week 3 against the Bills, that's just a normal hit. That's just a normal tackle. He bounces back up, and he's still playing in that game against the Bengals. And I
yeah.
wholeheartly believe that.
I think you're right.
Because he's on a 4-day, he only had 4 days off. That's concussions can last fucking 3 days. They can last 3 weeks. They can last 3 months. Look at fucking Sidney Crosby from a couple of years ago. That dude missed an entire hockey season due to one concussion. So concussions are the weirdest and the most unpredictable injury in sports. Just because you don't know you don't know the time frame. It all depends on how that on that individual.
Yeah.
And I truly believe if Tua was never concussed against the Bills, he's fine after that hit against the Bengals because it looked scary. Whenever a 320-pound dude whips a quarterback to the ground and he hits his head, it always looks scary. But there was no like whiplashing movement. He just got thrown and he hit his head. So I think the Bengals, or not the Bengals, the Dolphins definitely wronged Tua. He should have sat out that game, and just waited till week 5 or week 6 or whenever he was 100%, because you lose that game against the Bengals, which they ended up losing anyway. Even if you lose that with Teddy Bridgewater starting from the beginning of the game, it's not the end of the world if you're the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Now, vice versa, your world might be over because you might have to start Tua, or you might have to go with Teddy Bridgewater the rest of the season, and you don't know when Tua is going to come back. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing.
No, yeah, it was. I'll piggyback on I think two parts of it. It's just the 4 day turnaround. So bad. I mean, I'm kind of in this realm of they always bring it up with stuff like this. With why do we have Thursday games? I know that at this point it's going to be kind of set in stone with the way that all the companies and shit are at. I brought this up maybe a week ago. Maybe I don't know if maybe on the show or on the games or some shit. I like the idea of two Monday night games instead of a Thursday night game. I think that would be pretty cool, but whatever. That's just me. Because these turnaround games, or if we're gonna if they're gonna play a Thursday night game, there needs to be something set where they either get their bye before that or right after that. Because there needs to be a big sort of resting period with these fucking short turnaround games. But getting to it, like I said, 4 day turnaround doesn't look good. He got absolutely smacked up in that other one. And that was exactly another good point where it could be 3 days, it could be 3 hours, 3 days, 3 months, 3 years or whatever. What I didn't know, and like I try not to be, I don't put on my medical degree and my fucking graduation cap when I hop on Twitter. I don't have any sort of fucking neuroscientistic fucking experience or no whatnot. But when I hear that uh, in the UFC world, when a guy gets head trauma like that, if he experienced the same exact fucking thing that Tua would have experienced, he wouldn't have been out 4 days. He would have been out the entire month. He wouldn't have been training that entire time. That's their protocol. So the fact that Tua was out there, there's definitely blame to be thrown at somebody, not just him. I understand obviously these guys want to go. You can turn to this example last year where Joe Burrow, he literally hears appendix burst and he's like, ow, my back. Maybe I should sit up for a little bit. He didn't know. Like, these guys don't know like their own fucking strength and whatnot. So it sucks. So yeah, exactly right. It sucks. Sorry, I don't know where my point was. Uh, yes. So yeah, bad luck, bad thing on everybody. Bad luck. Yeah, exactly. Just Tua could probably be fucked up for the rest of the way out. We don't exactly know. It's a
Yeah,
tough look for the Dolphins.
yeah,
So
and the scary thing that came out, I think it was just yesterday. Not sure if any of you guys listening or if you, Nick, have seen that movie came up a couple of years ago, Concussion with Will
yeah.
Smith. He played a guy named Bennett Omalu, who's like a neuropathologist, one of the most successful brain doctors in the fucking world. He actually came out and suggested that Tua never plays football again.
Oh wow.
So
I mean,
like
yeah.
if someone of that stature is recommending you never play football again, they fucked up.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball. The third party I was gonna say pathologist, neurologist who comes. There's one at every single NFL games. There's third party doctors, third party neurologists, everything like that. They've already been fired for the fuck ups that they made during the Bills Dolphins game. So everybody dropped the ball. The Dolphins, the doctors, the NFL. And even Tua. I mean, I don't want to blame Tua because he's definitely the last person you want to blame because he wants to go out there, he wants to win, he wants to perform, he wants to play. Um, but at some point, you got to say, hey, like it's 4 fucking days. Maybe I
Yeah.
should take this game off. So
Yeah.
shame on everybody.
Someone
It's
should
it's
have
a
a
terrible
hundred percent.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, someone should 100% been in his ear. Someone should have been looking out for him. And yeah, I don't know. I don't. Again, I'll one last thing on this. I don't remember what show. I'll do my best to bring it up next week and find this guy's name out. Whoever was like saying they're trying to argue that the fans are just as like malicious and shit like that, that they don't care about these people. Fuck you. Honestly, it's fucking disgusting to think like that. To think basically a whole population of fans and of an entire sport wouldn't care about an individual when that's all we harp about is the health of these guys, the well-being of these guys. We constantly want the concussion protocol to change. We want these guys healthy, not only for our selfish reasons on fantasy, but for the selfish reason that we just want to watch these guys. We want to watch perfection. We want to watch great football being played. We don't like when these guys get hurt. So again, when I find this guy's name who was on NFL Live or one of those shows on ESPN, honestly, dude, fuck you. You are terrible. You're a terrible analyst, and you have a shit fucking. Yeah, I don't like this
Just
guy.
a
I'm like I
bad
said.
human being
Yeah,
when
if
you
you
think
think that
like that.
again, you're gonna say like you're gonna harp on fans, and we're gonna say how disgusting we are for to say, oh, we should get out there. Simply listen to any probably podcast that's sitting here right now, and listen to us right now. Exactly, listen to this conversation. This is disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. We don't like to see that either. We didn't want to see that. It's terrible. We don't want to see this guy fucking literally he went into a defense mechanism when you get knocked out so goddamn bad that you're just your fucking body still tries to protect itself. That's what he was doing. It's called fencing. So he's literally trying to protect himself. That's fucking scary. I didn't want to learn that, but I had to. So that's what happens. So honestly, again, to that ESPN guy, whoever's on the NFL show, fuck you. All this anger right
Yeah,
now is going out on
like
you.
the bottom line is Tua could have very easily died
Yeah.
on that fucking field Thursday night. Imagine if it was a violent hit like he took against the Bills and it wasn't just him getting thrown to the ground and smacking his head. Like if it would have been a violent fucking hit, Tua could have died on that field. And as much as, it doesn't matter what sport it is, football, baseball, hockey, basketball, fucking golf. I don't give a shit. People love and people hate their fucking team. People love their teams. They hate other teams. They hate athletes. I don't care if it's fucking Aaron Rodgers. I would never want to see that happen to anybody. Anybody. Because their fucking life and it's the same going a couple months back when we talked about this in wrestling with fucking John Moxley going into um going into his fucking alcohol, abuse, what's AA fucking
Yeah.
therapy or whatever. And I let the fans down. I'm sorry. I let you guys down, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not how we fucking feel. We'd rather see you as a human, as an individual, get the help you need to live your life, to live a happy life, not go out there and play football and or wrestle or whatever the fuck you do and do that unsafely. So yeah, that's just a very selfish thing for that dude to say.
Yeah, I'm again. I hate to just like throw it out there, just like that guy. I'm gonna bring it up or whatever next week. I'm gonna for sure find his name because I was watching that. I think yesterday. It had to have been yesterday morning or the other just the other day when this game happened. It rubbed me in such the wrong way to like for that guy to just assume upon so many fucking millions of people that was their intent on that. That's just so disgusting. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Regardless, there was a ton of other fun stuff on week 4. Again, the Seahawks were involved in probably the most entertaining game. Seahawks Lions go well over the over. I think they doubled it basically. It was also a scoreagami. I didn't know the
Yeah,
Lions had the
I think the over was 45
yeah,
and
and they scored
like
48
the
to
yeah.
45.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the fun. Yeah, that was a fun one. Lions are the number 1 ranked offense and the number 32 ranked defense, which is so fucking fun. I think is so awesome. That was a rough one. TJ Hawkinson, I think, finished with like a top 10 tight end fantasy
Yeah,
performance
he
of all
fucked
time.
me in the ass
Ooh,
fantasy wise. Yeah, I had to play against him in both
that's a
leagues.
rough
That
one.
wasn't fun.
Yeah, but all in all, like these teams that we just didn't expect much from, cranked out probably the most entertaining game of the week. Any thoughts on that? Like I said, there's just a couple other games I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, gonna be betting the over from here on out in Detroit's games. I don't care who they're playing. We're gonna rest of the season bet the over and hopefully wins more than it loses. And for them to put up 45 points, and I know it's a very bad Seahawks defense, but no DeAndre Swift and no Amon St. Brown and no DJ Chark, which I know he's been the number 2, number 3 receiver over there. But 3 big weapons like that out and still have that offensive output. Um, Something's going on over there. That offense is clicking on all cylinders, like you said. Fucking number one offense in the league right now. Who would have thought? Who would have thought the Detroit Lions have the best high scoring offense in football?
I
I don't
just
think
always keep
anybody.
thinking about that
I
Paul
don't think
Rudd
anybody.
meme. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
who'd have thought? Not us. Definitely not us. That's just my favorite.
Yeah.
Another team kind of keeping staying impressive, at least in terms of my eyes. The Jags. They had a pretty shitty game against the Eagles, but still kept it pretty close. And like I said, a little bit of a downpour. But Lawrence turned the ball over 5 times by himself. I think it was 4 forced fumbles and an interception. But I'm still not on the realm of maybe they're not legit, but they're keeping face and they're able to keep up. I'm I have them their line against the Texans as one of my best bets this week. Any thoughts on the Jags? Maybe just the fact that Trevor Lawrence, maybe I mean, he was the first round pick for a reason. Maybe it's just exactly that.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun team to watch. It looks like all these young pieces, are sort of finally clicking together under Doug Peterson, who it was fun to see him in Philly. Had a couple interactions with fans that were recorded. Some good, some bad. We know how those Philly fans are. And
Oh
then
yeah,
him, I think, who was it after the game on Philly? Was it Kelsey? I think it was Jason Kelsey, the center. Someone and Doug Peterson had a cool little embrace after the game. Definitely got a little emotional. I think it was Kelsey because he was a part of that Super
yeah, he
Bowl winning
was.
team.
He's
Yeah,
one
so
of the few guys that are left that are still part
yeah,
of that 2017 squad. So yeah, that
so
makes
that was
sense.
cool. But I mean, yeah, the Jaguars are going to be a fun team to watch. It looks like Trevor Lawrence is legit. Got sacked 4 times, like you said. Put fucking 4 fumbles, lost all
That's just a
4 of them.
tough.
That's
That's the
bad.
number one ranked defense, though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. The Eagles are legit. That's the thing. The Eagles are there in terms of like NFC. Like who are we tiering where are we putting everybody? At this point, the Eagles are for sure up there. You'd probably say outside looking in, maybe the Buccaneers. The Packers are right there, unfortunately, but they are. And then
Yeah, and
I don't
I
know.
hear a lot
That's
of
yeah.
people, scrolling on Twitter, on TikTok, you're listening to the podcast. Everyone's like, Eagles haven't played anybody. Haven't played anybody. They played the Lions, they played the Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars, and yeah, that's not the cream of the crop, but the Eagles don't make their roster.
But
You
it's
got to
it's
go out
not
there and you got to play who you got to play,
it's not
and
that. Yeah, you got to do
they're
that.
winning.
They're winning and they're winning soundly. They're winning handily. Like they took care of the Vikings very easily. That it was a 24/7 game, yeah, but completely shut them out in the second half. And every ball that Kirk Cousins threw, it was going Darius Slay's way. And I mean, the same thing that again, kind of let up on the brakes on the Lions. They probably shouldn't have backdoored as they did, but the Lions are a little bit of a pesky offense. They're going to get in there and they're going to score. So the Eagles are legit. As much as they're going to look at their schedule and be like, oh, they're playing who they're playing. You got to do that. You're exactly right. They have to do that. So
Yeah,
I
this
think
is
the
going to be
Eagles
a
are
fun
there.
matchup coming up against the Eagle or against the Cardinals this week on the
Yeah,
road. They're 5 point favorites. 325 game on Fox Sunday. That's going to be a must
I
watch. I
have the
hope that's
Eagles
like the
defense. I have the Eagles defense and Kyler Murray as my quarterback. I'm going to start neither of them.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think you can.
Yeah, because I can't make it's either, and I might regret it. Either Kyler Murray torches the Eagles defense, and I wouldn't be able to do one or the other, or the Eagles defense completely holds Kyler Murray down to nothing, and then that's exactly that. So I don't
Yeah.
want either one. So I'm going with Brady, and I'm going with the Packers defense. Uh, let me see. I had two more, maybe possibly, but I for sure want to get to Mitch. Mitch time is over in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett comes in. Uh, 13 for 13. He throws 2 picks. One of them was kind of bullshit. One of them was kind of earned, but uh, it looks like his time is done. I don't have all the stats on what he did exactly, but that offense looked night and day when Kenny Pickett came in. They scored 20 unanswered. Ended up losing the game still against the Jets. That's just because the Jets are phenomenal, but that's neither here nor there. This is going to be interesting. Sorry, Mitch. It looks tough, but you tried. It is what it is. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with their receivers and stuff like that on the Pittsburgh side. Going to be really interesting to see how Kenny Pickett does. Maybe he just covers. Maybe he just does. He does what he does. Maybe he can be the bus driver for the rest of the season. But this could be fun. This is what we were talking about week one with Mitch being having a short leash. He could be done any time. So they decide halfway through the game. That was their decision. So be it. Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter now. Any thoughts on Mitch?
Yeah, I really don't care who the quarterback of this team is. I think this team is just it's dog shit this year. I hate to say it, but none of the receivers have really looked consistent. I mean, one week Deontay Johnson goes off. This week, fucking Pickens goes off. Freiermuth has been very consistent for him. I'll give him that. But Najee Harris has been, I think, the letdown of the fucking NFL this year in terms of running back. He's just been absolute dog shit.
He's
I'm
just not getting
we
the
we've
same
been
dump downs from Ben
exactly
Roethlisberger that he was
exactly, and
getting all
we're
season
we
last year.
both predicted it. Like this is going to be the first season in Mike Tomlin's career. They're going to have a losing record. They lose J.J. Watt week one. Minka Fitzpatrick just got hurt this week. We don't know if he's going to be playing this upcoming week, week five. And yeah, I do agree. Kenny Pickett will definitely um what's the word? He's not afraid to throw the ball. I
Yeah,
think that's the
he'll
difference
bring a
with Mitch.
new life. He'll bring a new sort of attitude
Yeah,
for
I
that
think
team right
I
now.
think if you're in fantasy and you're looking for a receiver and someone's willing to give up like a Deontay Johnson or for some reason Pickens, I don't know why people would want to be trading him, but if you could acquire like a Deontay Johnson, I would because I think this offense is going to throw the ball a hell of a lot more. You even saw it with the interceptions that Pickett threw. He's not afraid to throw the ball. He's going to stand there. He's going to take those hits in the pocket and he's going to get the ball out. And that's what Mitch Trubisky never did. Mitch Trubisky, he'd hold the ball too long, that extra second, half a second, whatever, and he gets fucking sacked. So, um, yeah, they're still going to be a bad team, but they'll definitely be more exciting to watch offensively with the rookie in there. It'll just give the team a spark too.
Yeah,
So,
a breath of fresh air without a doubt. Last game I had, if you wanted to preview it really at all, completely up to you. Just the Sunday night game. It was Bucks and Tampa Bay, or excuse me, that's the same team. Chiefs and Bucks. It kind of sucks when the Chiefs basically get 7 right away. They had that muffed kickoff return. But Chiefs basically looked their dominant self. You tweet. I'm pretty sure you tweeted it out on our page. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback basically without in this league right now. Tampa Bay able to come back a little bit. Mike Evans had a nice game, but that was basically it. Everyone, the broadcast team was basically saying, there's a difference. You can usually see when he's thrown it to not Mike Evans, they don't move the ball, and when they throw it to Mike Evans, that ball goes in the end zone. So I hopefully that's what Tom Brady's goal is going to be, and that'll help my fantasy team out a little bit. But uh, yeah, I don't know if the exam maybe not the holding up the red flags for the Buccaneers just yet, or are we looking up and praising the Kansas City Chiefs for maybe
yeah,
basically coming back.
I think it's praising the Chiefs. I'm still not throwing in the white flag on the Bucks yet. I still think they have all the talent in the world, both sides of the ball. To represent the fucking NFC in the Super Bowl. Like any team with Tom Brady and that defense, I'll never give up on them. Uh, but I think the Chiefs are just that fucking good still. And I know it's not just us, it's everybody. It's a lot of sports podcasts and analysts and everybody out there. We're sort of looking past the Chiefs a little bit going into the season just because of the Bills, just because of the other teams stacked in the fucking AFC West. And I think, maybe that's a chip on the shoulder of the Chiefs. Like, okay, just look at the Dolphins, look at the Bills, look at the Chargers, look at the Broncos. You don't forget about us. Forget about us. And when we play you, we're gonna put up 41 on you in prime time on the fucking road. So I think I said it last week or the week before. I'm sorry, Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, Kansas City Chiefs, for not believing in you. But I still think they are cream of the crop in the fucking AFC. As of right now, I'd put them as that number one team. So Mahomes has been playing great. They've been running the ball a lot. Splitting between Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Both of them have been running the ball great. And when you can have that run game a successful run game and an even more successful pass game, it's unstoppable. I think it was Chris Collinsworth the other night, calling the game, said it's almost unfair. It's unfair when you can run the ball at will the way they're doing, and then also just throw it to Kelsey for 20, 30 yards whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're fucking playing Madden on rookie mode. It's just that offense is clicking. And Andy Reid, obviously one of the greatest coaches of our time, one of the best offensive minds in football. Um, everyone owes the Chiefs an apology. Everybody owes the Chiefs an apology for overlooking them in the fucking preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, I was just still trying to figure out this guy's name while you were trying to talk. That's still gonna bug the shit out of me. But yeah, this Chiefs team, very dominant. Still looking. They're not gonna find maybe the big explosive guy like Tyreek Hill. Like they're not gonna get down the field, but it is exactly right. Like you said, they're distributing the ball all over the place, passing it to basically everybody on that team. And Travis Kelsey is going to be the benefit of the doubt with getting just about everything. All the big plays probably going his way. And something you alluded to a week or two ago, if they can ever get that run game going, they'll just be working on all cylinders. So they'll be basically back to that dominant self that they were 2 years ago, the when we were just they were the world leaders. So uh, that was basically that. Yeah, I'm still in the same realm of I'm not entirely closing the door on the Buccaneers off on the team. The offense can still turn around. I'm not going to count out Brady. It's a tough one. I think with him getting his divorce lawyers this week, uh, he's going to throw for 7 touchdowns this week. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's gonna be on a fucking revenge tour, and I
Against the
even
Atlanta
tweeted it.
Falcons too, I think he's going to
Yeah,
torch them.
I
Yeah.
even fucking tweeted it. Yeah, he's gonna go on another fuck you tour, just like he did. They say he's a cheater. He won another Super Bowl. He fucking spied on the Jets, deflated the footballs, won another Super Bowl, and then he left Belichick, won a fucking Super Bowl. Now his wife's gonna fucking leave him and go fuck Antonio Brown. He's gonna win a fucking another Super Bowl. I know I put it on the fucking Twitter, but for everybody here listening, just so Colin Cowherd or David Kaplan or fucking Rex Ryan and Mr. Run Out Dan Orlovsky, Mr. Run Out of the back of the end zone, don't steal this take in a couple weeks or whenever it happens. Tom Brady's ex-wife will be fucking Antonio Brown at some point before this year is over. I guarantee it. They got the fucking, he retires, says he's going to spend time with her. Bullshit. Not even a month later, he comes back to the NFL. And then you think it's a coincidence. Like there's a video of Antonio Brown's dick. And then 2 weeks later, she files for fucking divorce after not a lot of people realize Antonio Brown lived with Tom Brady for a little bit while he was on the Buccaneers.
Oh
He's
boy.
close to He's close to fucking Giselle, and she's a
He
fucking whore because
he
she's a fucking
definitely went in
model.
her room and sniffed her panties. There's no
Oh, dude,
fucking way he
you
didn't.
definitely know there
There's
was
no
some
way.
sexual tension going on in that fucking house when Antonio Brown was living there, and just knowing how women are and knowing how Antonio Brown is, he's definitely going to be fucking banging her. Antonio Brown's going to be banging her at some point. I already fucking know it.
There you
Hopefully, there's
go.
a sex tape. How crazy would that be?
Oh, that would be
Oh,
wild.
dude, if there was ever a sex tape with Antonio Brown and Tom Brady's ex-wife, I would bet every penny I had on him to win the fucking Super Bowl that
Oh
year.
my god.
Every fucking penny.
Oh, that would be crazy. That would be the most. That have to be would be the downright big. That would be the best fucking 30 for 30 of all time.
Oh, yeah, thinking down the line. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, we got some week 5 matchups that wrapped up week 4. I got, like I said, week 5 best matchups, best bets, underdog plays. Got some points bet sponsored stuff to get into. Points bet. Go to SYS9. Go do it. I got a couple matchups. I got 5 more on the docket. Like I said, we can preview, go in as much detail as we want. I got five that I like for sure. Uh, unless you got, like I said, you got some too. Unless you want to dive in whichever matchups you like the most.
Let's see. I got a couple of them. Unfortunately, I got fucking plans Sunday, so I'll only be able to really catch the noon games.
Ugh.
But as far as let's see, which one do I want to talk about first? I'll go. Okay, I'll stick right here real quick. Uh, Sunday noon game, battle of two and two teams, 22. Glenn Lerner, how you doing? He's going to be watching this game. The Browns and the Chargers. I think
Okay.
that's a very interesting matchup. The Chargers maybe not living up to everybody's expectations that they had, going into this season. And then the Browns, flip side, I think they've looked a lot better than a lot of people thought they would going into this week 5 matchup. Jacoby Brissett looked all right. Nick Chubb's leading the league in rushing yards. I think he's got 5 touchdowns already. And then
The
Amari
number
Cooper's
one running
even,
back in fantasy as of right
yeah.
now.
And then Amari Cooper's even, having, there were a lot of questions. Should I draft him? Should I trust him? Is he going to get the volume? He's got 228 yards and 2 touchdowns on the year, so not that bad. I just think I don't think this team, a win or loss for either of these teams, it won't be like a decisive game that really has a lot of implications going forward. Um, but just the way the Chargers have played so far this season, I think this is a very winnable game for the Browns. I really do. And I see the Chargers are 3-point favorites on the road. The over is 47.5. I would probably take the money, maybe plus 3.5 alternate line on the Bills here, or on the Browns. And I really think the Browns can win this game at home, just the way they've been running the fucking ball lately.
I'll disagree on you with the sense that yeah, okay, maybe you're right. They won't look at this game at the end of the year, be like, oh, that determined our win loss or if we got in the playoffs or not. But any game where it's two AFC teams going up against each other, that can determine a lot, especially the two divisions that these teams are in, where it could ultimately be a toss up. Even with the Browns aren't necessarily out of contention just yet. Uh, the Chargers, like you said, maybe due for a bigger offensive explosion. Got a get right game last week with the Texans. Austin Eckler was able to have a nice game. Justin Herbert looked pretty good. I don't know the injury status of Keenan Allen just yet. Gonna have to look out there, but in all in all, I think this could be a high scoring game. I'm gonna hope for that, just for for the sake of me being selfish for trying to be entertained and for fantasy. I got a lot of guys on both these squads on my teams. I'm just gonna be looking forward to some high scoring affairs. And yeah, particularly, I don't really care who wins. It wouldn't obviously that just doesn't affect the Bears in any sort of sense. But yeah, I mean, it could be a bigger if the Browns get the upset win, that'll be a big thing. That'll be a big problem for the Chargers. But it could also, yeah, it can also not be so problematic
Yeah.
considering they're so injury ridden right now. So
Yeah, I
it
agree.
does suck. It does suck. This could be a fun game. It definitely could be a fun game. Uh, Next on my little docket, I'll do like I'll lightly touch upon it just because nothing too crazy. I don't have a ton of implications on it. I just have the one play. Jags looking to get this is probably gonna be their get right game. Jags -7, playing against the Texans at home or in Jacksonville. This could be just a fucking run of the mill or the Jag can pounce the Texans, honestly. We give Davis Mills his due and he can keep up. There's just this offense is moving pretty hot. This offense is passing very well. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm speaking of. Trevor Lawrence, like I said, we kind of gave him his flowers a couple minutes ago. Able to keep up in the Eagles game. I don't think he's going to turn it over 5 times in this game. So Jags -7. Looking in my mind, like I said, I have it under my best bets category. I think it's a solid little play right there.
Yeah, I agree. The Texans have just looked bad in every aspect of the fucking game this year.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars, they've looked very good on offense, so I like that one as well.
Yeah, like I said, don't
Um,
want don't want to spend too much time on that ball game. What was something you were looking forward to next?
this one's going to be an interesting game, and I definitely want to try and watch as much of it as I can, at least the first half. Um, Cowboys Rams. I
Okay,
think this is
yeah.
a very interesting game just because fuck. I mean, the Rams looked terrible on Sunday night against the fucking uh
What's
who
the
they just played,
Niners?
the
The
49ers.
Niners.
Monday night against the 49ers. Only put up 9 points in that game. Cooper Cup, he gets his every fucking week, but that team couldn't find the end zone.
I don't
And
think they had a
I
play
mean,
over 20 yards. They maybe only had one or two plays over 20 yards in that
wow.
entire game. That's pretty bad considering the huge offensive explosion that the Rams had last year. A lot of people are saying it's not just Odell that's seemingly being the problem. It could be a mixture of Odell not being there, uh, their left tackle that retired, and like why can't I think of the former fucking he's on the Bills now. Why can't I think of the
Von
linebacker?
Miller?
Von Miller. They're also thinking a combination of all three not being there is fucking up this team's mojo as of right now. It could get right and make themselves better, but this 5.5 point line right now, I I would like to take the Cowboys at plus five and a
Yeah,
half right
I
there.
probably would
I
too.
mean
I mean, the
Cooper
Cowboys
Rush is
3 and
looking
0.
good. Cooper Rush is
He's
looking
fucking
good.
3 and 0 this season, 4 and 0 in his career when
him
starting
and
games.
him and CD Lamb have some sort of connection that just nobody has figured out just yet, and they're hitting on all cylinders. They got a couple other guys that can come in. That Brown guy, I think Michael Gallup might be getting healthy, and there's always that potential. While Zeke sucks, he could still have a Zeke type game, so it's never out of the equation.
Yeah,
The
and I'm
Rams
gonna
offense on the other hand, that Cam Akers, they couldn't run the ball, and Daryl Henderson, they couldn't run the ball. 49ers add another streak of games where they held the entire offense to less than 100 yards rushing. Sorry if I cut you off.
wow. Yeah, going is a funny story going into the Monday night game, Rams 49ers. Our good buddy AJ was down in fantasy by less than 2 points. I think he was down by like 1.7 points. All he needed was 1.7 out of fucking Cam Akers to win, and Cam Akers didn't get it. He got like
Oh my,
1.5.
oh my
How fucking
God.
terrible is that? How
Oh,
fucking god awful. And he lost by 2/10 of a point to whoever the fuck he was playing. So
oh,
bad break there. But I'm gonna say it right now, just seeing what I've seen out of the fucking Rams. And I even got something going back to that Monday night game after this. But if the fucking Rams don't win this game, they're not winning the fucking division. I'll call it right now. If you can't beat a fucking a good Cowboys team, but a Cowboys team that definitely has holes on offense and defense. They don't got their fucking their superstar quarterback Dak, and good for Cooper Rush. He's played great. But if you can't win this game at home, I don't think they're going to come close to winning this division. Just the way the 49ers have played on defense and running the ball, and especially they just beat the fuck out of them. They beat the fuck out of them on Monday night. So I honestly think this is a must-win game for the Rams.
yeah,
Um,
no, very good point
going
there.
back, going back to the fucking Monday night game real quick, sort of flip flop, and going back to week 4. You said you didn't hear anything about this, but there was this kid who sort of got viral over the weekend. He had a 15 leg parlay, all money line in the NFL, and it was $10 to win $72,000. You don't know anything about this?
Oh, I think I did might have seen the screen cap. Was that how much he was going to cash out with, or was
No,
he
no, no.
was
The total amount, if the Rams would have won, was $72,000.
on a $10
Tom
bet? That's
Brady on
fucking
a $10
crazy.
bet. Tom Brady misses practice today due to right shoulder and right finger injuries. So keep
Shit,
a fucking eye on that. But
boy.
anyway, this kid $10 to win 72,000 on a fucking 15 leg parlay. It all came down to the Rams. And we follow BR betting. They're probably the biggest, social media outlet when it comes to gambling nowadays. And rightfully so. They're pretty entertaining. I think some of the shit they do is a little sketchy, but they're popular for a reason. So it comes down to Monday night, and they fly this kid out from. This kid lives in Arizona. They fly him to Vegas to go to this casino and watch the game in person, and they're live streaming it, and they're keeping the guy up to date. Um, Going into the Monday night game, he could have cashed out before the game for $23,000. Now I don't knock the kid for not cashing out then, because I would have let it road too. Um, but just given the fact that he watched that entire first half of the game, saw how bad the fucking Rams played in that first half and he had a cash out at halftime of $11,000 and didn't take it. That's where I'm gonna fucking knock the guy, because it's like you watch that whole first half, they looked god awful. And if you know anything about fucking football, that was almost a must-win game for the 49ers. They're at home, their defense is playing great, their run game looks amazing. Like you said, the Rams didn't have a play over fucking 20 yards all game. All the signs were going towards the fucking 49ers, and he didn't take the fucking cash out $11,000. Early in the third quarter, the Rams turn the ball over and the 49ers get it. And he had a cash out of $9,000 and he didn't take it.
Oh my God.
Ended
It's
up
like the worst episode of Deal or No Deal ever. Oh,
exactly,
fuck.
ended up losing, obviously, $10 down the drain, didn't win any money. Um, but there's a little bit of fucking controversy around it now, because I guess he was doing this all on FanDuel, which boo FanDuel, go sign up at PointsBet,
Yeah.
promo code SYS9. I guess there is this thing in, and this is where the controversy is coming in terms of the BR betting. Obviously they got a lot of content out of this story, flying this dude out, doing the live streams, having their posts, updating everything like that. Will he cash out? Will he let it ride? What's he gonna do? Blah blah, getting the guy's reactions. They flew him to Vegas from Arizona, and what I didn't know until just earlier today, if you place a bet in one state, you cannot cash out that bet in another state.
Oh,
Like if
wow.
you place it,
Yeah.
so what a lot of people are thinking is BR betting is personal, or like, they're all expensive paid, paying for. I know they didn't fly the dude out, they had him drive out, but they reimbursed him for gas and everything. But they've flown other guys from like the East Coast and California out to Vegas before to do this same exact thing, and they're thinking like, okay, we're gonna fly this dude out. We're gonna foot the bill. We're gonna get so much content off this kid, whether he wins or whether he loses, and they can't cash out because they're flying out of their states that they made this bet
Oh,
in.
man.
And there is a lot of controversy going around saying, are they doing this on purpose? You entice, these kids are already fucking degenerate gamblers. Well, oh, listen, you can win $72,000. We're gonna fly you out, all expenses paid, to Las Vegas, put you up in a hotel, get you a buffet, get you this, get you that. Come, you get all this exposure on
Yeah.
Instagram and social media. And they're saying like they're doing this shit on purpose, knowing that these kids can't cash out their bets.
Oh,
How fucked up is that?
that's pretty sneaky, sis. That's a fuck.
Right?
That's fucked. That's really fucked. If
It is fucked if that's true.
that's
That
truly the
is
motive,
evil.
then yes, that's exactly right. That it's evil. That's fucked. In the long run, yes, you lost $10, but you lost out on 11,000 and then 9,000 and then 70, whatever it was. Maybe down, maybe when he actually was one win away, it was like 35,000, whatever it was. Like that.
Yeah,
That's a tough one. That's a
it
real
is. And
tough
you know what?
one.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to knock the kid for not cashing out before the game. I would have let it road too.
Yeah,
But
and
just at halftime, seeing like
it was 14 to
how it
9.
was,
Was it 14 to
exactly.
9? That's
It
a
was something
close
like
one.
that.
It's really hard to say. It could have been like the Broncos game the other day. Like one play and they're in the lead, and then sure enough they win 11-10 or whatever it was. A very disgusting game where they shouldn't have won it, and sure enough they did. Lightning didn't strike twice for them. The Niners were actually able to capitalize and finish off the game. But yeah, that's a tough one. In my mind, yeah, I would probably be in the same boat of let's cash out. But I guess that is the trade-off. Whatever he's gonna get, the exposure, him having his I mean the potential of his gamer, or not his gamer tag, sorry, his Instagram tag going up and him giving X amount of followers, or if he's already an influencer in some sort of way, you get donations and get fucking your I don't know, your YouTube views and shit like that, pays for that. It's a hairy situation. That's the rough one. I did not hear it. I saw that one, but I didn't know the details upon all that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
a little scary. That's a little
that's a shitty
shaky.
situation.
Yeah.
And like just looking at the kid's Instagram page, and he's not like a big time dude. He's not like some influencer. He was just some dude who made a $10 parlay and got really fucking lucky.
Yeah.
And we all know there's the mattress Max out there and the other big time gamblers who are throwing around 10,000, 50,000, $100,000. Like, if you were to do that, if you had a $50,000 parlay to win $1 million or whatever it was, and you lose that, I don't really feel bad for you. But I feel bad for this kid because it's like,
And
if this is true, they definitely took advantage of him, knowing that he couldn't cash out his money. But at the same time, if it's not true, um, if you're just a small time person, or just a regular Joe Schmo, like majority of the gamblers out there, and you can turn $10 into 10K or 11K or 9K, whatever it was, you fucking do that because that's life changing money for a
yeah,
lot of people. It
absolutely.
really is.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Let me see here. Yeah, that was a good little story. I had two more matchups in week 5. Like we just blast through, and like I said, I got some quick little bets that we can get to MLB and wrestling to wrap up. Uh, any thoughts on, like you said, you kind of mentioned it earlier, Eagles Cardinals, gonna be high scoring, gonna be fun. I can't really make heads or tails. Maybe Kyler Murray takes down this defense, or maybe this defense is just all too much for the Cardinals. They're right around the corner of getting DeAndre Hopkins. They're close, but they're still some question marks of who's necessarily going to be the big receiver on that team. I'm gonna Philadelphia is getting the 5 on the road. I don't know. It's gonna be tough, but I'll take the over if anything at all.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say I'm probably not gonna touch any either of the spreads. Over at 49 though, I'm gonna take that. Eagles, they're gonna have a field day on this Cardinals offense.
yeah,
And I think the Cardinals, they're gonna be able to put up points. Kyler Murray
yeah,
is good enough and explosive enough to sort of, I put up 2, 3 touchdowns for that Cardinals offense. So,
yeah. I like that.
um, yeah,
Two
definitely
mobile
take the over
quarterbacks.
49 in that one.
Yeah, two big mobile quarterbacks going at it. Well, not maybe not big in terms of their size, but just big in terms of their name stature. Yeah, Murray versus Hurts. That's gonna be fun. A lot of yardage on the ground. I'm gonna think. I think that while AJ Brown and Devontae Smith probably have tons of potential to have a good day. Marquise Brown over on the Cardinals side as well, maybe even Zach Ertz. But yeah, I think the game plan for the Eagles has just been run, run, run down your fucking throat. Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, and their actual leading guy, Miles Sanders, probably gonna have a nice day as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be still fun to watch. Again, fantasy implications going to be a lot of those probably going to be in that game. And then the last one I had, Sunday Night Football, Bengals Ravens. I think it'll be awesome. A good division match. Uh, Bengals getting right after winning against the Jets and maybe able to take advantage of, I guess, like I said, the Thursday night game that getting 2 out and whatnot. Obviously, that was their end goal, but able to just take care of the Dolphins without Tua. Bengals looking good. Ravens looking just right too. I don't know. There was a tough one last week with Harborough. I don't know if you going to go for it or are you going to kick the field goal in that game with the Ravens. It was a rain game. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Harborough's side, I guess. But points is points. I think you gotta still take that as well. I'm talking about the Ravens Bills game. But yeah, Ravens Bengals should be fun. Baltimore by 3 right now. Anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple notable injuries for the Ravens. They might be without their starting left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, who's I think personally one of the best young left tackles in the fucking game. He's just been very underrated for the Ravens the last couple of years. I think he's a Notre Dame boy, if I'm correct. Let me look. Yeah, Notre Dame boy.
There you go.
He's 28 years old, just been sort of flying under the radar on the Ravens the last couple of years. And then, might not have Rashad Bateman, who's looked like the number one target other than Mark Andrews on that offense. Thank God I got rid of fucking Bateman.
Yeah, that was a
How
good
about
move.
that trade, dude? I trade Mike Evans and Bateman for fucking Waddle. And Waddle's quarterback dies, and now Tom Brady's getting divorced, and he's going to throw every touchdown to Mike Evans. So
That's
I'm
that's
just
spot.
fucked.
That's got the potential, and I'll double down. Waddle is waddling around. He's a
Yeah,
little
he's
hurt right now, a little gimp.
yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah, these games are always close. Baltimore Ravens, offensively, fucking Lamar Jackson is proving why they should have given him that fucking $245 million he wanted in the offseason. Because after
Now
this
he's going to
season,
get
they're gonna have, yeah,
325 million.
exactly. They're gonna have to shell out 350 fucking plus $1 million for this dude.
Yeah.
Or someone else will. Hey, maybe we'll trade you Fields and a first round pick. What do you
Maybe
say?
the Colts. Maybe the Colts could sign Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Imagine him behind that fucking offensive
that'd be
line.
crazy.
But I'm gonna say this is a close game. Obviously, prime time rivalry game. Two pretty good defenses so far this season. Bengals only allowing 17 points a game on that defense, so that's pretty impressive. I'm gonna take the plus money for the Bengals here.
I
I'm gonna
like
take
that.
+3, maybe +4, 4.5 alternate line in an alternate line parlay. Uh, Keep this a fucking 2 3 point game towards the end.
Yeah. Seems like it's going to be a pretty entertaining all around. Probably, like I said, big performance probably from Lamar Jackson. Maybe a bounce back game for Mark Andrews, and then yeah, just the Bengals. We always talk about every single week that trio of wide receivers, and Joe Mixon can actually get involved and have some fun in that game as well. Uh, that about wraps up what I thought was probably going to be best matchups. I got a couple of bets right here. Brought to you by PointsBet. PointsBet. Go to SYS9. Be 21 and older. Be in the states of Illinois, Iowa, New Jersey, New York for the special first two free bets up to $2,000 with that code SYS9. Helps you out, helps us out. So go ahead and do that. Uh, Kind of made mention to it earlier. Jags -7. I loved it for the reasons above, like I said earlier. Going to be a good right game for the Jags while they had 5 turnovers for Trevor Lawrence last week against the Eagles, the number 1 ranked Eagles defense. That will not happen against the Texans, who may in fact be the worst team in the league, give or take a couple of key pieces on some teams. So Jags -7 at -107. I like that. Pretty easy. I'll probably end up throwing the Jags money line somewhere in like a big fucking juice bag parlay or something like that I end up doing. Another bet that I like, over 46 currently in the Seahawks Saints game. I'm nothing too much. I don't have any crazy stat lines on it, but if Jameis Winston is going to get back into this game, that should be good. Michael Thomas has the potential to come back and play as well. That should be fun as well. Maybe have Alvin Kamara play. That'll be good as well. That'll also help the point total as well. But the Seahawks look like they could score. Geno Smith not looking like it's any sort of issue. He might in fact be better than Russell Wilson in most of the stat categories.
Honestly, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
So it's looking pretty crazy. Him and DK, him and Tyler Lockett looking pretty good if you have them in PPR leagues. Those are both had pretty nice days. DK had a fucking huge game. If I don't know. Again, I don't have him in any leagues. I didn't get like the scare of like, oh my god, why is he getting carted off? And he tweeted, I loved it. He's like,
You should go
basically,
take a shit.
yeah, he had to go take a shit. He didn't want to do the clinched asshole fucking walk all the way to the tent. Couldn't do it. So yeah, good. That's king status. That's such a power move. Getting driven to the bathroom. Love that. I would do that if I could. And last one, might turn this into a hammer play. I'm gonna see where the line ends. I got it right away as soon as the Jonathan Taylor news dropped. Nothing changed. I'm taking under 42 in the Thursday night game. Colts Broncos -105. No Jonathan Taylor. This Broncos team already. I'm flipping teams, but the Colts offense is looking pretty terrible. All I have is Michael Pittman Jr. at this point. That's not going to move. That's not really going to move the ball all too much, in my opinion. And on the flip side, yeah, Broncos struggling. They just lost Javonte Williams to torn ACL. Melvin Gordon going to come in and probably fumble the ball just like he does already. He's got a neck injury, so I'll be watching out for that. Probably going to be Mike Boone going to be getting some touches out of the backfield for that. But all around, going to be a stinky game. These primetime unders have been hitting at like a 65-70% clip. So I'll take that every single time, basically. I'll take that without a doubt. Anything best bets wise before I get into my underdog plays?
Yeah, I just got one little money line parlay that I put together. I'm gonna put together a spread one, but I think I'm gonna hold off on the spread until maybe Friday, Saturday, put that one together. But I am confident in these three teams so far in my little three-leg money line parlay. I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Carolina Panthers. 49ers, they're just both sides of the ball. They look great right now. Debo, they've been utilizing him in every aspect of the fucking of that offense, and he's just fuck. I mean, he had a great game Monday night against the Rams. I expect him to have another good night against Carolina. Carolina, Bears fans, we like to bitch and complain about how bad our offense is. Carolina might be the actual worst offense in the fucking league.
And they have Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly in terms of like just scoring points, they have been god awful. So Baker Mayfield not working out over there. So I'm going to take the 49ers
There
money
have been
line.
talks that they might get Sam Darnold back involved again.
Oh,
It might be
jeez.
that bad. It might be that bad for the
Yeah,
Panthers.
it's bad. Second one, I'm going to ride with a team we've sort of been high on the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Texans,
There you go. How you
minus
doing?
350 there on the money line. And then I fucking hate to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings minus 325 to beat the Chicago Bears. We're not winning that game. We're fucking not winning that game. So all three of those come out to plus 129. You use your daily boost, gets up to plus 145 on points bet, excuse me. 49ers, Jaguars, Vikings, money lines. Lock them in, plus 145 on points bet. Use promo code SYS9. Get your first two bets risk free up to 2K, 2 grand. You got a gambling problem, call 1-800 gambler or don't. We can't really tell you what to do.
That's very
But that's
true.
going to be my three-leg money line parlay.
Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, you keep an eye on the spreads. I'm glad you mentioned that one. I'm going to be looking at the Lions and Patriots line. If Amon-Ra St. Brown plays, I might lean towards the Lions, which is already the public is already going to be hammered, whether it's the hard knocks or the stat on the Lions always covering. The public loves hammering the Lions line, so well, I kind of want to right now with the Patriots line -3 at plus 100. I would like to take that with the plus money, but I kind of got to wait and see on the St. Brown. If St. Brown's going to play, I'm going to lean towards the Lions. I got two underdog plays. One is for sure the plus money, but one is like, I don't know. This line should change the money, at least the money line on it should, or excuse me, on the money line, but the spread on it should. Uh, Giants +8 going out to London. Yeah, not too confident in it. Yeah, not too crazy. Obviously, the Giants are the Giants. Looking at the stat line from last week, 82 yards on through the air isn't going to impress anybody. It's just that you're able to get a win against the Bears when you do that. It is what it is. But they're going up against the Packers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have his usual fix across the pond. He can't take his drugs on the plane, so that's going to be something to going against them. Can be a little different. Sometimes these London games get a little crazy that night, but shit happens. I think I just went Australian. I don't know. I'm very bad at accents, so possibly Giants +8. We're going to be maybe a wait and see line on that. In my actual underdog play, I have Commanders money line. Commanders haven't been looking all that great, but a breath of fresh air possibly coming in. Brian Robinson Jr. going to possibly make his debut. How many more times can I say possibly in the sentence? Maybe one more time. Brian Robinson Jr. coming in most likely for the season debut. Against I can't even remember off the top of my head who they're playing, but if it's only plus 115, it's probably not nothing too crazy.
They're playing the
Commanders.
Titans.
Oh, there you go. I mean, every
Battle of
time
the
I see the
Frauds.
Titan,
Battle
yeah,
of the
every
Frauds.
time I see the Titans as a favorite, I don't feel confident in that at all. So very easy for the Commanders to go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna put my whole fucking bank account on it, and I would never do that for Carson Wentz. But a little plus money right there, not the worst decision. Like I said, with a new running back possibly coming in. So that about wraps up with football with me. It's week 4, week 5, all in a nutshell. We did our best to kind of compact it as close as we can, but that is what it is. Any maybe lasting thoughts on football before we wrap up with a quick little
No,
baseball, quick
I
little
think that's
wrestling.
about it. Fucking week 5. Gonna be a good Sunday night game. Good Monday night game too. Chiefs
Yeah,
Raiders could be a little exciting there.
Yeah, I only
Uh,
left that out because it has all the potential to be a back and forth battle like it was a year or two ago. It also has the potential for the Chiefs to just come out and dog the
yeah.
Raiders.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't want to spend too much time on it, considering I can't make heads or tails on it just yet. But Josh Jacobs having a fucking crazy day last week. That was fun to see. Like I said, if you're a fantasy owner like myself, that was nice. Uh, Devontae Adams, that's always going to be good. But again, we already talked about how good and how nice every single person on the Chiefs offense is going to be. So again, that's that. But the Raiders front line on their defensive side, maybe they can put some pressure on Mahomes and get to him a little bit. That could be, like I said, has all the potential to be a very good game. So I like that. I like that Monday night. Like I said, that about wraps up for me. We can get in here really quick on some MLB, really quick on some wrestling before we hop on out of here. Don't want to. Nah, we got a little bit. I think we got some time. We got a little bit of time. I don't want to bore anybody though. I feel but obviously the baseball season, regular season wrapping up. Today is the last game as we're recording for everybody. I think there's a doubleheader for like the Orioles or some shit like that. But who gives a fuck? Sox have been done for a week or two now. Cubs have been done for 2 months now. Uh, but the big hoorah, everyone's been claiming about, and I forgot to bet on it the other day. Judge finally hits number 62, taking the American League ranking in home runs over whoever the Roger Maris. I don't know.
Roger Maris.
There you
Yeah.
go. I think his kid has been he's been in every fucking game forever, so he's gotten a bunch of free games. Good for him. But yeah, the only thing I had, obviously, besides finally you did it, congratulations, tip my cap to you. Can you get your mom a real authentic jersey? Like, why is she walking? Why is she going around? Why is she got to get the Chinese knockoff with the fucking judge on the actual last name on the Yankee jersey? I get it. You're proud of your last name. Good. You should be. Get a real jersey. that was mine on that. I had one more. Just are you jumping into the bullpen like the guy didn't for home run number 61 or the guy that did for home run number 62? Are you jumping in that
Yeah.
bullpen? Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. And honestly, that's a that's a smart strategic play right there. If you obviously you've seen the video of the 60-second guy jumps down, that's the play right there, honestly, because if the ball did land first row. You see it all the time. Some guys muff it, drop it, it bounces around. I think your chances of catching it are a lot higher, than it is, fighting between four, five, six, however many people going for that fucking ball. Just take the calculated risk and drop down. You'll have it all to your fucking self. Unfortunately, it didn't go to him. And I was watching it last night, and I watched the clip. I didn't watch the 18 notifications you get. He's in the batter's box. He's on
Yeah.
deck. He's at plate. Tune in now.
He took a
ESPN
practice
Live.
swing. Yeah. He
Exactly. No,
farted.
I didn't fucking tune into that, but watching the clip, I was on PlayStation with our good buddy Kyle, and I was obviously focusing on the ball and the home run only, and on like the side of the corner of my eye, I seen the dude drop down, and I was like, oh my god, some dude fell. Some dude fell, and I was like, no way, I gotta go watch it. And then you rewatch it and see that he willingly jumped. I honestly thought just the first time I watched it, he was leaning over to catch it and just tumbled down and ate shit. But no,
No,
that's the right
no.
play if you're that dude. Jump
Yeah.
down, flip the coin, say, hey, if it lands down here, I'm the only one fucking getting it. That's a good play by him. You catch the ball, you get ejected from the fucking game. They're not going to take the ball away from you,
Yeah.
so you still get the ball and 2 mil, whatever.
At the very worst, what, you can't go to the Rogers Center for a year? Fuck Canada. Who cares? Blue Jays suck.
Yeah, they
Uh
were they were in Texas when he hit
oh,
the
that's
60-second.
I'm so stupid.
The tying
That
one was in
I did.
Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. The
Either way,
either
you're
one.
jumping. You're
Yeah,
jumping and getting it. You're jumping. I don't care where you are. You're
they
jumping.
have.
I don't care if I'm in Houston and it's that 20-foot high porch. I'm jumping to get that damn ball. Or it's over the train tracks. You got to climb up onto the train tracks to get that
Yeah,
damn ball. Pull like a Spider Man. I'm going for it.
yeah. I'll put on my little train conductor
Or
hat
if
and
it's
hop
in
up
like
there.
if imagine if it's like in Wrigley and it's in the basket. Like
Oh my
people don't
god.
realize that ball stays there until the end of the game, and then someone like one of the ground screw people come and retrieve that ball when the game is over. Because there's certain parts of the basket, like left center field, you can like reach over and grab it. But if you're like in dead left field or, you know, right field, you can't reach that basket. Like someone has to get a ladder after the game and go get that. Like if it was dead down the line at Wrigley and it's in that basket, I'm jumping over that Budweiser sign and the little fucking not the jumbotron, but the little board that they have there, and I'm getting that fucking ball.
Yeah.
And I'll fall in the basket. You could arrest me, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm putting that ball up my ass. I don't give a shit. You're not getting it from me. I'm gonna make sure I have that ball secured.
This is the one that might get you. It goes over the green monster in Fenway. You
Oh, you
jumping
look down,
over.
dude. You look down. There's like a bread truck that just doing like a unloading delivery. There's like some bread down. You're like, oh fuck, I gotta
Oh
jump.
yeah.
Ah! Pull a fucking
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior off
Yeah,
the
the
fucking Green
Fenway,
Monster.
the weekly delivery of pillows to Fenway Park. It just so happened to pull up at that
Yeah.
particular time, so I jumped
Or you're
on.
looking, there's like some box truck driving by. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go box truck, parkour onto the garbage can, onto the ground, get the ball. I think it's worth it. I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
you'll die. Like if you fall off some green monster, I don't think you're dead. I
yeah.
think
I
you're
mean,
fucked up.
as long as you retrieve the ball, your
Exactly.
expenses are paid with that ball, your hospital expenses. So that's worth it in my mind, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I agree. I
Uh,
totally agree. I'm getting that ball no matter
yeah.
what.
We got some post game playoff tree. We see what those play out, what the matchups are going to be. No real reason for predictions other than, like I said, I mean, I think the Rays can handle the Guardians pretty soundly, but whoever wins, I think if the Rays win, they play the Astros because they're the lower seed. If the Guardians win, they will play the Yankees. And then whoever wins between the Blue Jays and the Mariners. I think the Jays and the Mariners that has a potential to go all three. That's a toss up right there. Can't really make two hit heads or tails on that one, but
Yeah.
that ought to be a fun one right there. Same thing, you flip it on the NL side. Cardinals, Phillies. Phillies, I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn. This was right around when we did that the episode right after the trade deadline. I said watch out for the Phillies. They can squeak in there. And sure enough, they with the pieces they were able to make and acquire, they got in there. And I think they call their rookies and all their younger guys, they call them the daycare. So they said the guys like Noah Syndergaard are also like, yeah, the daycare will come in, like Stout and all those guys like they're coming in and actually doing well. So honestly, the Cardinals, they could lose the series. I wouldn't put it past them. So and then again, that series is in the same round. That kind of determines who they play next. If the Phillies win, they will play the Dodgers as they are the lowest seed in the NL, and the Cardinals, if they win, they would play the Braves. Another matchup, very good, but I think the Mets could take all three, or just the first two. I think it only takes two in this series. Padres, Mets. I'm gonna lean towards the Mets. I think that's gonna be a pretty good series all around. Any thoughts on the playoff tree? Any thoughts on these teams right
Oh
now?
yeah, not a fucking, not a real big dog in the fight when it comes to either side. I think I am going to be rooting for the Seattle Mariners, though. I
Yeah,
like their story. They finally make it after 21 years. Cal Raleigh walks it off to get them into the playoffs. I think they're the first wild card team. And they got a pretty favorable matchup with the Blue Jays in the first round, 5-4 seeding right there, winnable for that team, especially the way they've been playing. They've been red hot lately. So I'm gonna be rooting for the Mariners on the AL side. On the NL side, I'm gonna root for the Braves.
yeah.
I like the Braves. I've liked them a couple. I think 5 years in a row now they've won that division. And
The
obviously I don't
Braves
want to
have
root.
found their stride. The Braves have for
Yeah, they
sure found
definitely
it.
have. They
Yeah,
definitely have. So, Troy, I'll be rooting for Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Maybe
yep,
they can get past the Cardinals. I'd like to see that, especially as a Cubs fan. But I think NL side, I'll be rooting for the fucking Braves. So
yeah,
I'd like to see a Brave. It's hard to go against the Dodgers, the Yankees, the top fucking teams. But I don't. I don't got any fucking money
yeah,
on it. I don't got nothing in it. So I'm gonna root for the fucking Braves and the Mariners this year.
yeah. I'm in the same boat. NL side, same thing. I'm rooting for the Phillies first again for the boy Troy for the sake of, like I said, I kind of looked at that team and said, all right, they can make some noise. They can maybe be a little dark horse and at least make their way into the playoffs, and they were able to do that. So I'll root for the Phillies for the sake of That's gonna be my wild card team. But yeah, overall, it could be the Braves. That's very, very, very good. They're gonna have a tough one if they end up playing up against the Dodgers, and no one is gonna want to play up against the Dodgers. We mentioned it last week. Not just their frontline starters, but their B team can come in and fuck you up too. So that's gonna be a tough one. AL side, obviously, fuck the Guardians. Anyone that could beat them, do that. So go Rays. But yeah, it'll most likely going to be the Astros. I mean, I'll take the chalk right there, being the number one seed. Just all around, just from top to bottom, they're pitching. They're just the daily lineup that they're going to produce is going to be better than just about any other team. While the Yankees have all the power right there, they got Judge, they got Stanton, and they got a couple other guys. Garrett Cole obviously still producing pretty well, but it's gonna be tough. So maybe Astros. Like I said, I'll be rooting for just the Rays to beat the Guardians. As long as anyone beats the Guardians, fuck them. I don't care. Yeah, I also like the same thing. Underdog. Mariners haven't been here. They broke the longest playoff drought in American sports since what 2001. They hadn't been
Yeah,
in the
it's been 21 years.
yeah. So good for them. That was a good one. But yeah, that ultimately is there. Can't sit here. I don't want to sit here and do predictions because this fucking conversation could be obsolete by fucking next Tuesday. So it doesn't really matter. So I guess we'll just keep it playing ear by ear by watch the games and we'll just see. We'll
Yeah,
just go from there.
yeah.
Yeah. Last little thing on MLB, you had Otani agrees for one more year in the Angels, $30 million. Anything on that?
Yeah, it broke a record for a 1 year deal. And they're gonna avoid arbitration. And I can only imagine like going into that arbitration meeting with like a third party arbitrator and sitting down and having to break down like Otani's numbers and try and actually pick a number, like put a value on that
Yeah.
guy
To
because
really
of all the shit he
configure
does.
his
Like,
worth.
how
Yeah.
difficult would that be? How
Insane.
difficult?
With
You
yeah,
can't.
you
You can't
yeah.
do that. I think he's worth more than the way he plays. He's worth more than $30 million a year. Because you think about it, he like Bryce Harper's making $30 million a year, and Bryce Harper plays right field 130 games out of the year.
Yeah.
Give or take fucking injuries. So, for them to just say, listen, 1 year, 30 mil, avoid arbitration, because I honestly think you go to arbitration, that dude will make the most money ever. Like that 30 million for 1 year is already the fucking record. You go to arbitration with that dude, and a third party lawyer comes in and says, yeah, this dude's worth $50 million a year because of what he
That,
does offensively
yeah.
and on the mound. Like, smart move for them. And I guess, we're going to have to fucking sit through another wasted year of Otani's fucking career playing on the goddamn Angels, winning 60 fucking 8 games in the year. That's going to be sad.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my second grade math brain came up and I'm just like, well, if one player is doing one thing and he's getting 30 million and Otani is one player, but he's doing two things that two players would do, then he should get twice the money. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was basically the same lines of when you said 50 million. I was like, yeah, when you do that, when you do like I said, you do the simple math of he's one player doing what two people would do, so you should pay him double. Uh, you do that, and then you do all the fucking mathematician stupid shit. You're like, oh, because because he's the pitcher today, he can't be the hitter today. So you take a little bit from that. So yeah, roughly $50 million is probably going to be the number of what he's actually truly worth. When you're getting down to the nitty gritty of it, I would love to see the actual fucking equation to determine what he's worth, what he's truly worth when he's pitching, when you integrate his WAR, his hitting, everything. We are truly in the time of this is probably the best baseball player. We've seen the two of them on the same team and they just still can't get it
Yeah.
done. So it's nuts. Absolutely insane. Uh, that's baseball for me. That's baseball, hopefully for you, maybe. And then we can
Yeah,
quickly
just
wrap up
imagine
on some
that
wrestling.
fucking number he's gonna get when he actually gets like that long term
Oh yeah,
extension. it'll be the biggest
It's
contract in sports history.
I,
Not
I
only baseball, in all of sports.
record breaking isn't going to be, even though that's going to be what it is, that's not even going to be the word for it anymore. He's going to, the record, I don't even know. Like it's that they're going to need a new
It's not
word.
like breaking the record. You just like you fucking
You are the
should I
record.
say this? Like you Nagasaki that fucking record.
God
Like you dropped
damn it.
bombs on that fucking record, and then you went in
Oh,
there with the death squad and made sure everybody was fucking dead. Like that's what he's gonna do to that fucking
yeah.
record.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's gonna
He's going to
do to
make
that
sure that
record.
generations and
Yeah.
generations to come will be affected by this.
Generations, it's just a fucking fallout of Otani's
Oh,
contract.
yeah.
He's gonna do to that fucking record what AB's gonna do to Tom Brady's wife's butthole. Watch, just ruin
Oh,
it for
fuck.
everyone.
Oh shit. Yeah. That's I think that's entirely fucking factual. So that's completely in the realm of possibilities. Let's see. Just to wrap this baby up, I can just plow through wrestling. Just we haven't had it on for a little bit. Actually, some stuff has come up. Nothing too crazy, nothing I need to get into detail with, nothing I gotta put on my, like I said, I gotta put on my Mad Nick wrestling cap and fucking cause a fuss about, but just some stuff to catch up on, stuff that we should be focusing in on. Unfortunately, we'll start off with the bad, upsetting news. For those who don't know, and for the legendary name, he's a Hall of Famer in all sorts of professional wrestling, but obviously in the WWE Hall of Fame, I think it was either inducted in 2007, 2008, 2009. Regardless, he's in there. Antonio Inoki passes away at the age of 79 years old. He's actually the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling. One of the, I mean, besides that, just if you go back to all the way to like the 60s, 70s, 80s, he's at the top of all of these big main event matches. Name any sort of guy, he's wrestled him. Andre the Giant, Jerry the King Lawler in his heyday, Dusty Rhodes. He's had some sort of match. He even fought Muhammad Ali.
I know.
When one what so, I mean, it's neither here nor there, but some might say that might have fucked up Muhammad Ali's career for a long time
Yeah,
because he was,
I mean I've heard that from a lot of people that
yeah, there was something. Mhm.
the leg kicks that he landed on Muhammad Ali's knees back in the 70s. Now ACL and knee injuries today are relatively fucking simple procedures. Back in like the 70s, even in the 80s, like if you blew out your knee or if you had a
You're
severe knee
done.
injury, that was for a lot of people career-ending injuries, and a lot
Yeah.
of people said what Inoki did to Muhammad Ali's knees caused him to not move correctly. He wasn't able to
Yeah.
move, and he wasn't light on his feet like he was before that fight.
There
So
there could be a lot of things to that because I don't know exactly the timeline of when Muhammad Ali and Antonio Inoki fought, but there was also the whole. I mean, he Muhammad Ali didn't train for 3 years after the whole Vietnam situation. So there was also talks of like he didn't look the same after that either. So he could, like I said, a couple things. I don't know the exact timeline on that, so I don't want to go in on that. But bring it back to Antonio Inoki. What a guy. I mean, one of the most prolific. Uh, we'll go down with one of the big wrestling names. Very underrated in turn, maybe in the United States realm. Everyone's gonna like, oh, Ric Flair, Undertaker, Rock, Stone Cold. Those are gonna be the big guys. Hulk Hogan. Those are gonna be the guys. But in terms of who made the most around the world international news, who made the most impact wrestling around the world, Antonio Inoki probably will be that guy. Like I said, bringing in Japan, bringing in such a big market right there. Every single place he went into in that country, he sold out immediately. Uh, Probably going around again. You can probably just get the sense of how well he was respected when he had that training video. It's up on Twitter. It's at least in my wrestling Twitter feed. Uh, you can just a long line, probably 100 feet long of guys just getting ready to get slapped by Antonio Inoki. That's all they want to do. They just want to get slapped in the face
what?
by, yeah, just to be on in that honor realm because they were doing some sort of like training facility. And that was like the last thing that was a part of the thing. That was the last part of the trial was you get in a long line and Antonio Inoki slaps the shit out of you. So
No
it's
shit.
they basically show the whole thing over on online on Twitter. So go ahead and do that. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm very unfortunate. Like I said, that's gonna be big blow to the wrestling world. I'm sure a
And not
lot of
only to the wrestling world too, like boxing and like
yeah,
mixed martial arts and everything. He
yeah,
also had a big part to play, like in Japan
yeah.
with boxing and MMA, and like even in the pride fighting and everything like that.
Yeah,
So
I guess in terms you can maybe compare him to like uh, maybe like a Dana White type guy where he was just a promoter. He was a big promoter for not only just the wrestler himself, but he would go in there. He's all the wrestling schools, like you said. Yeah, also all the mixed martial arts and all that stuff too. He's involved in everything, any performance or art like that, any athletic little thing in Japan like that. Antonio Inoki had his hands on. So yeah, it
yeah,
makes complete
and
sense.
even just adding like the pageantry of boxing and MMA, like they got that from the wrestling, from the professional wrestling aspect.
Yeah,
So I know a lot of I watched his video on it, and the impact that he had on just the UFC, and how the UFC and boxing nowadays takes a lot of like the theme songs and the entrance walks out, the walkouts and the entrances and the fireworks and all this stuff they took from wrestling.
yeah.
And the early guys that really introduced that to wrestling were one of them were Inoki. So I mean, he had a big part to play in not only wrestling but all combat
I mean,
sports
you
really.
saw it what a couple months ago when God, what's that? The guy did the Undertaker in the UFC when he took off the hat.
Adesanya,
Adesanya.
yeah,
That
Israel
okay? That was
Adesanya, that
okay.
was
I thought
awesome.
that's yeah. Like that's obviously it's clear cut. Like right there. Like if you wanted an example, boom, right there. We're not just pulling that out of our ass. Uh, yeah. Again, just yeah, just very unfortunate. Rest in peace, Antonio Inoki. I don't know. He hasn't really been in the realm of like in the outside where he probably was some sort of sickness, some sort of sick. I didn't really look into all that. So forgive me. I apologize, but go ahead if you want to research on all that. Anything I didn't bring up already on him. Like I said, he speaks for himself. There's a lot to get into. You could probably do a whole fucking 30-minute thing on him, but I just don't have the time right now. Probably if you want to listen to something like that, I'm sure, like I said, not everyone likes him, but the Jim Cornette podcast did like a 40-minute little excerpt on him. And again, he might not have the best opinions when it comes to wrestling in that sort of realm, but when it comes to factual history and keeping up with shit like that, a guy that was there, go listen to the Jim Cornette podcast and shit like that. So that's fine. That would be my tip in my realm for that. So anything that I didn't get into on Antonio Inoki, go ahead and listen to something like that. Otherwise, still staying in the realm of Japan. It was announced that Sting will be wrestling in Japan in 2023. This will be a part of the Great Muda's retirement match. For those who don't know, maybe who the Great Muda or is right now, he was just recently on an episode of Dynamite. He was on the Grand Slam episode that he was able to come in and help Sting and Darby get the win over the House of Black during their match. Where I don't know if you remember, Julia Hart took that ugly fucking table bump during that time.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so
oh
yeah, they got
yeah, she smacked the fuck out of her head.
yeah, that
I
was a bad one.
imagine I as soon as I seen that I was like, that fucking hurts.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, he came in. Like you said, he got the big pop for the Grand Slam appearance. Sting and Darby able to get that win in the Malachi Black or over the House of Black part, but that's pretty cool. Like I said, great Muda going back to WCW. They have some history back in the day in WCW, so go ahead, maybe check that out on like I don't know the fucking WWE Peacock fucking network or whatever. Maybe you can check it on some shit like that. But yeah, just some research. They actually do have some history, and I'm glad while the booking for Sting is like it's been fun. It's been really cool to see. They keep putting him in. You can bitch and moan. They keep putting him in these hardcore tag team matches. They're doing that because they want like he's a 60-year-old man with neck issues, dude. Let him look good the way we can let him look good. So let's not put him in a fucking 15-minute one-on-one match where he's gonna get blown up in the first 5 minutes and just look fucking minuscule the whole fucking time. Let's put him in these matches where he can spread them out. He can get a breather. He can let Darby get beat up over on the stage. And then, like I said, Sting's just gathering himself in the ring or whatever. He was handcuffed at the time. It's called It's like a magic trick. You're fucking taking away the illusion, putting it in one place so something else can go on in the background over there. That's my point. So good job on AEW so far on Sting, and I'll be looking forward to this. However, this match is going to be set up in Japan in about a year from now. So be looking forward to that. Last little thing, keep it on the wrestling docket, and you can get your thoughts on your boy. Uh, still in the realms of the House of Black, so kind of staying relevant on this AEW realm. Talked about it last week or the week before. Malachi Black, while he was in the regard, he was coming out on his Twitter, on his Instagram, saying, "Don't believe the rumors, don't believe this, don't believe that." It's still very encouraging. He's been coming out with other stuff saying he's basically back. He's still all elite. There's no cut, no nothing like that. And it's been the big part that I want to focus on and just point to that's been the most positive. 2 weeks in a row, he's still in the opening credits for Rampage. So I guess just, again, if we're in that same realm of all things looking good, that looks pretty good to me. So like I said, maybe Malachi Black was just right. He just needs a minute. He needs a mental breather. Give him that, and so on. And he will be back as soon as he can. And I'm glad, and I can't wait. So maybe just like I said, that's a good way to end on wrestling on a positive note. What's your thoughts? It's your boy
Yeah,
Malachi.
glad to hear it. We said it, when we got back from All Out, whether it was his last match or if he was going to get cut or if he was just taking the time off, we didn't know. It's glad that we got a little reassurance from him on both his Instagram, and from AEW leaving him in in that vignette, like you said.
Yeah.
So, take all the time you need. Same with Tua, same with Moxley, same as any of our favorite athletes
Yes.
or entertainers or anybody. We don't give a fuck. Like AEW, I'm saying that in a good way. Like we don't give a fuck. Like if if you want to take all the time out for mental health or for family issues, personal reasons, whatever your reasons are, go for it.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Tommy End, whatever Malachi Black, whatever you fucking call him, Alistair Black for you fucking WWE simps. Whatever you want to call him, I'd rather see him happy and living and enjoying life. Same with fucking Tua
Yeah.
than, just, no one wants to fucking wake up every morning and say, ah, man, I'm fucking drained. I'm worn out. I need a fucking break. Just not enjoying what you're doing. So, especially when you got that pressure of being a fucking I'd say world famous fucking wrestler like he is. So, take all the time off you need. It'll be, hey, as wrestling fans, we know there's nothing better. I can't wait for the day where we're just hanging out at Mike's house and we're watching a fucking Wednesday night dynamite, and the 6 months, 12 months, a year and a half from now, 3 weeks, whatever, the fucking lights go out and we're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you get that instant pop that Malachi Black is back.
Yeah.
That's what we love as wrestling.
Yes, exactly.
Some of them, our favorite and the most famous moments of all time are those returns from long layoffs. So,
Yeah.
um,
How can
I
we
have
miss
no
you if you don't go
problem.
away? So there's that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'll say
Exactly.
this. I'll say this just to wrap this up and to piggyback back on the argument of that guy earlier. I'm gonna before I put this episode up, I'm gonna cut it to myself. I'm gonna find the guy's name. I'm gonna say his name before this episode even starts. So maybe even go in and, like, when I say that guy's name, I'm just gonna say like Michael blah 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 blah. I'll just do it really like drony, but whatever. Uh, at the end of the day, yes, just like you said, I want Malachi Black in a wrestling ring, but I want Tommy to be okay. I want
Yeah.
CM Punk in a wrestling ring, but I want Phil Brooks to be mentally and physically capable to still do this. And yes, that's exactly the point. We don't want there's tons and tons of talent to rely on in AEW, tons and tons of people to rely on in the NFL, even dive into that just so it can integrate somewhat into the conversation. But yes, we are not disgusting fucking fans that just want blood and the fucking broken backs of our favorite wrestlers all over the place just for the sake of our hard-earned dime or whatever. No, there's not replaceable, but there's other people in that group, in that realm, that can earn my dollar and put my ass in that seat. And sure enough, with the insurance that hey, Malachi he's not here right now, but he's not gone. I still like that. So get well soon, like we said before. We'll say it again. Get well soon as you can, Malachi. Can't wait for you to come back and return. And on that
Yeah,
note,
for
feel like
sure.
that's a great way to end episode 127. Had a fun one. Good recap week 4. Great preview for week 5. Go in and get your bets in. Again, sorry for just one. We're gonna just have to do one big episode this week. We'll get back to the two scheduled episodes next week. Without further ado, wraps it up for me. Any
Yeah,
final
sorry for the
thoughts on
wait,
you?
Troy. Know you've been
Yeah,
fucking waiting.
yeah,
Leave you on fucking pins and needles over there at the Dollar Tree.
yeah.
But you got a nice fucking long episode for your
Absolutely.
next long work shift, or whether you listen to us at home or whatever. You got a
Whatever you
nice
do.
long episode for
Yeah.
you, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, thank you, Troy, for listening. Alan, take your notes. Hey, you know what? The triplets, happy birthday to all 3 of them the other day. They had it. Eric, Alan, and
Hey,
Melanie. So congratulations. Happy birthday. That was fun to go to. Got to spend had a little ticket money, ticket sales over at D
oh,
and
dude,
D. So that was
my arm
fun.
is still dead.
Oh, that pitching machine
My
gotcha.
arm is still done, dude.
That was good.
Jesus.
That was fun. That was a ton of fun. But yeah, thank you to everybody for listening. Check us out everywhere, YouTube, fucking Spotify, everything, wherever you want to catch us in your car, on the toilet, fucking, I don't know, whatever you guys are doing. Take care. Have a nice day. Have a nice week. Go Bears and have a nice fucking
I
fantasy
guess,
week.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
we could say go Bears.
Yeah. There you go. And
I
give
hope
up.
both
Yeah.
teams have fun.
There you go. Take care.
See you guys later.